Hey guys, welcome to our YouTube channel. My name is Samantha. I am the photographer at Rubies magazine. But today, I get to be before the camera and I want to talk about something that I feel the Lord has been talking to me about recently. And I know it's something that most of us women in this 21st century go through. So we obviously live in a very ambitious world and we are always at a constant worry to be more, to achieve more, to live more. And the problem is it is a rat race. We never really seem to get to an end. And the result of living such kind of life is we get to go ahead of God, so that sometimes God might have a plan for you and God might decide you have to wait for some time. But instead of waiting, the ambitiousness in us or the constant pressure will always lead us to want to go ahead of God or to live or to do work for God. And of course, this pressure also comes from people outside. I have so many times I've had people ask me, don't you think you should do more? Don't you think you should be doing this and that? It doesn't even matter if it is God's plan, as long as I am seen doing something that makes me look like I am living or I am being ambitious enough. Now the problem is this, and I'm sure most of you have felt this, is you end up feeling so fatigued at the end of the day, so that before going to bed, instead of feeling like, it was a good day, you just feel like you need extra time added. And that's the other thing. You never feel like you have enough time. You're always rushing, so it's never really enough time. And then the other thing is we are always at constant worry because we feel we are never achieving enough, we are never being enough, so it's always a constant worry. But the thing is, this is not the kind of life that God wanted us to live. God certainly purposed that we live a joy-filled life, a fulfilled life. The problem is, how do we really get to do this? We have to go back to the basic. First things first, we have to remember that the Bible tells us God purposely knew us before we were born. And I'd like us to read from the book of Psalms just to see how amazing it is that God knew us before we were born. From the book of Psalms 139, from verse 13 all the way to verse 18. It says, "For you created my inmost being, you knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place. When I was woven together in the depths of the earth, your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be." Verse 17, "How precious to me are your thoughts, O God! How vast is the sum of them! Were I to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand. When I wake, I am still with you." How amazing it is to know that way before we were woven together, someone already knew us. And that means God created us for a particular purpose. So He knew us already. And we know the famous verse, Jeremiah 29 verse 11, it says, "I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to bring you prosperity and not disaster." I know in the context God was telling this to the Israelites, but this is actually a reality for us. God already has laid out a plan for us to live. And then the other thing, I want us to look at the story of Martha and Mary. Remember when Jesus went to visit them, and Martha was busy all over just preparing, making sure everything is okay, and Mary was just seated listening. Martha was furious. I mean, how could Mary be sitting down when she's supposed to be helping, which is obviously normal. I mean, when you have visitors at your house, you want to make sure everything is working out well. So I am definitely that Martha who would be so furious at Mary. But this is what Jesus said to Martha. I'm reading from Luke chapter 10, from verse 41 and 42. It says, "Martha, Martha," the Lord answered, "you are worried and upset about many things, but only one thing is needed. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her." The answer sounds so simple, and yet it is so amazing. And while I was reading this, I put my name here. Samantha, Samantha, the Lord answered. You're worried and upset about many things, but only one thing is needed. Only one thing is needed. This is so comforting for me to imagine that I don't have to live in this rat race. I only have to do one thing, and only one thing is needed for me. And what is this one thing that is needed? Which the verse 42 says, Mary has chosen what is better. What is this one better thing that we all have to choose, so that we can ensure that we live a fulfilled, a joyful life? I'm going to read from Matthew chapter 11, verse 28 to 30. A very common verse, very, very common Sunday school kind of verse. It says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." This is the thing. As long as we are walking on this earth, we will always have burdens to carry, constant worry to carry. There will be pressure from family, pressure from life, pressure from the world to be successful. So there's always going to be a burden to carry. But this is what Christ tells us: "Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden." So if you ever get to a point where you feel you're just tired, you can't do this anymore, this is the choice that you need to make. Jesus says, "Take my yoke upon you," which is learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart. And then he says, "For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." So you exchange your heavy load for what Christ is giving you, which, by the way, if you note, he says he's giving us a lighter yoke. It doesn't mean that you will walk scot-free now that if you lay everything down to Christ. There's a yoke you're going to carry, but his is definitely easy. And this means just having a relationship with Christ, making sure that as you wake up in the morning, you're not out there trying to overcome the world by yourself, but just asking of God, what is it you want me to do today? So that at the end of the day, you're not running a rat race, but you'll be able to achieve what has been laid down that day for you. So I hope this video was helpful. Please share, please comment, and we would really love to hear from you. Follow us on our social media. The information is put down here. And one last thing, we are really trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So please help us by subscribing to our YouTube channel and inviting your friends and family to subscribe as well. Thank you.